The following is a presentation of TFNN.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Namaste and welcome to Mindful Living, everybody, where we want to help you get healthy, feel good, and live life to the fullest every single day. And that's what today's show is all about, living life to the fullest. We're going to talk about how to manifest your goals and dreams in 2014. We're going to share some really helpful tips and practices that you can incorporate into your life right now, today. And I can't think of two better people to have this discussion with than my co-host, Mr. Tom O'Brien, who is master of manifestation and dear friend, colleague, yoga mentor, life mentor, and coach, Mrs. Sharon Denton. And of course, we can't forget Sharon's beautiful brand new baby,
That's right.
Murphy.
Look at Murphy.
Who is here joining us for this positive energy discussion with his sweet little heart and soul. You can feel it right here in this room.
Totally.
So, before we dive into our discussion today, we have to take our health shot. And today's health elixir has been provided by Mrs. Sharon.
All right.
So tell us about what we're drinking today.
So today we are drinking Nature's Harvest, and this is from Nature's Sunshine. And this is something, if you are interested in learning more about it, you can go to my website and there's a link to Nature's Sunshine. And so it's best to do this with a blender and do some frozen fruit or half a banana, something like that, with some water, so it can be dairy-free, lactose-free, those of you who are on that kind of diet. It's gluten-free. So it's a fantastic plant protein. So we're going to cheers to health here.
And the website is SharonDenton.com, folks.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one is definitely shaken and stirred,
Yeah,
right?
we just did this like in a in a little shake thing. So no blender for this one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's let Tom
Cheers.
go first. I'm gonna take in the aroma for a moment. Cheers to
it's
Al
good.
and Steve and
Oh, it's
everybody in the
good.
production office. Is it? What do you taste, Tom?
I've tasted this before. It's
got
a smooth green.
it's
the
good.
chlorophyll, right?
Yeah, it's
good.
actually really sweet,
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, it's just packed full of good stuff.
Thanks. Yeah,
yeah.
we need that chlorophyll cleanser for the blood. We talked about that on one
Health
of our
and
shows,
energy.
Wheatgrass. Yes,
Good stuff.
Positive health elixir. So thank you so very much.
You're so welcome.
All right, so when we're talking about manifesting our goals and dreams, what are some really important concepts we need to understand? How do we get our life even prepared to start thinking about that brand new year?
Well, I think what it starts with is the acknowledgement and reality that we are energy, and everything that we speak, we think, any thought that we have is also energy. So once we learn that concept of our words and our thoughts are actually energy, we learn to use that to manifest wonderful things in our lives.
Yes.
Yes, no doubt.
Very true. And I have to say, I'm not sure I was quite aware of that until I started yoga. I think yoga has been a really beautiful practice that opened my understanding to that.
Right.
But I believe it now. I mean, like you said, your thoughts, your words, if you just take the words for a second,
Right.
and you consider how powerful words can be. You know, we even have sayings around that thought, oh, your words are so sweet. Or conversely, oh, your words can cut like a knife.
Yes.
And so a lot of times we don't think about the types of words we're using in our life. And obviously, where does a word start? Well, it starts as a thought in our head. So I think it's really helpful to become aware of that concept.
Absolutely.
Now, for people who don't have a practice like yoga,
Right.
I mean, I think this is an important concept to talk about, this developing belief around certain concepts. How can we become aware of that? How do you process that?
Well, I think, first of all, our emotions are a barometer. Our emotions are an indicator of how we are doing in the moment. So it's hard for people to go from being depressed to being happy. There's like a emotional scale that someone's going to go through and travel through to get to that happiness. So for someone to feel, let's say, anxious, and then if they feel relief from anxiousness, then they're going to feel better. And so the idea is to get to that better feeling so that you can manifest those things in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? So the question about the yoga, right? I got lucky when I was young.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is that I really got to realize that that whole white light deal, whatever that was, okay, it was powerful. And it was because, of course, I got shot in the eye when I was a kid playing with BB guns and all this stuff, right? And then I was blind and then I could see, okay? So the bottom line, I understood at that point that, oh, okay, this is powerful. And I was 16. Then what ended up happening to me personally is that I met someone who was explaining that why would you ever think that, oh, I can't do that? Or I think that today, you know, something's going to happen. It's like, why would you even put that thought into your mind when you can put a different thought into your mind?
Absolutely.
Right.
And then, you know, as you expand on that, it's really important that those words are that important. And in the context of, you know, even when you see someone else say, you know, they're saying something negative, it's like, why? Because if you go there, it's going to go there.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think any of us know how it works, but it does go there. And if
Right.
you don't
Exactly.
go there, guess what? It doesn't go there.
Right. True.
Which is really pretty cool.
Yeah. It's
The longer
So
someone
interesting.
spends focus on a certain problem area, you're just adding more of that
Yes.
into
Right.
your life.
Yes.
So if there's something going on in your life that you're not happy with, stop focusing on the negative. Start thinking about ways to move past that and to go with the flow instead of trying to
That's a great
go
point.
upstream and
Right.
fighting and
Right.
you know going so hard. Life's not that supposed to be that hard.
Right.
If you go down the river, you go down the flow, and you work with what comes to you, and you put that, you ask, and then you allow yourself just to receive. You get out of the way and just let those things come to you.
Right.
And that's when stuff starts to happen, and that's when you start to manifest these things that you want in your life.
Yeah, and this is where really it can be really surprising that if you stop for a moment and reflect on the things that are happening, if you've set the intention
Right.
and are mindful of these windows and doors opening,
Right.
that energy will lead your way. And I'm sure you guys have had, I mean, we've talked about
Right.
this,
Sure.
how you're thinking of something, and because of this energetic connection and it tapping into the source of what we all really are, you set that ball in motion when you start to think of something.
Absolutely.
And then
I think that's a key word you said is source. Because when we connect to that true nature, we connect to that source. I said
Right.
this earlier
No,
today.
it is.
That is where we start to live from that place. And when we're not living from that place, we are very judgmental, we compare. But when we're living from that place of source energy, then we see things differently.
Yes.
And it's all right in front of us. The thing, you know, it's a mind
Exactly.
blower that everything that we need is right in front of us. And some days we're better off than other days of grabbing it.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes I say to myself, how has this been in front of me the whole time and I didn't see it?
Yeah.
And it can be years sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
so true.
Sometimes it can be hours, but it can be years that it's sitting
It's
right
right
there.
there.
And all of a sudden you say, oh, I see it now. And as you said, it's simple.
Yep.
You know, it's complex, folks, but it's simple.
Yeah, it
it's,
is.
You know, it's because when I say complex, it's just complex in the point of you're always going to be thinking, okay, how does it work?
Right.
I think one of the true beliefs, though, you don't have to do anything. Okay. My take is that we're all the same. It's one energy, and when you're coming into that energy, you want to make sure that everyone's all right. Because why wouldn't you? I
Right.
mean, for one, everyone should be all right. You
Yes,
shouldn't be the
right.
only one that's all right. You know, there's responsibilities. I think that when you are all right, to
Yes.
the source. Period.
Yes, I think I love how this happens. How when you talk about tapping into the source, when we're not there,
Okay.
we are, as you say, maybe judgmental or we're disconnected.
Absolutely.
We feel
We're not
alone.
going with the flow.
Right. And we separate ourselves. We feel alone or abandoned or cut off
Yeah, that's
from
dangerous.
other,
Yeah.
That's
other
dangerous,
people and
right.
other sources. And that's when we start to sort of wallow in
That's why me.
our self. That's
Right.
right, which is
Right.
the ego talking.
Right.
When, again, my understanding of this really was developed through yoga, and it's developing more every single day. But that's not reality. That we are never alone in anything, in our suffering, our happiness. We're all connected. And when you start to develop that understanding, as you said, Tom, you naturally start to care for others. So you develop those two really important qualities of empathy and compassion.
And what is cool, folks, and these ladies know it extraordinaire because they're both awesome yoga teachers. But what does happen in yoga is that when at the beginning of yoga you're setting an intention, and that's really cool because of the aspect of paying attention. What I've seen and what I really dig is that when you're setting that attention, you're you're just reinforcing it all the time. 'Cause I'm always setting the same intention.
Yeah, me too.
You know, and it's basically, you know, you just want purity, you want oneness, you want all of that.
Right.
And that keeps you more cognizant of what's going on.
Right.
It keeps you in the flow more. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
You know.
I agree. And, you know, we're going to talk a lot more about really practical tools that you can invite into your life a little bit later in the show. But I think that is a really simple suggestion right there and then. And yeah, we do that before yoga classes, but you don't have to do that in a yoga class. You can do that at the beginning of your day. First thing you do when you wake up in the morning is, you know, sit for a few deep breaths, just a moment by yourself, with yourself, in yourself, and pay attention to what you need for that day to increase your positive energy and set your intention for your day. You know, whether that's forgiveness or patience or understanding, whatever it is. And, you know, if it doesn't happen at the beginning of the day, maybe when you arrive at work or in traffic.
That's the amazing thing about this is every single day can be different. So you could have a day of full manifestation where everything's going right. You get right at the front parking spot. You go into the store and you get exactly what you need and you have the exact change in your wallet and everything is just working with the flow. And there's some days that you're hitting every red light. You have to park way in the back of the parking lot. You can't find what you go in the store for. You know, those are just examples. But that's kind of a signal as you're not connected with that source energy and you're not aligned with it. So we are going to talk later about ways to get realigned with that energy so that your days, you know, you can recognize, okay, I'm not in the flow right now, and how can I get in the flow? Because I'm, you know, I like being in the flow.
Yeah. I love that we're having this conversation, and I just want to thank you again for being here because
thank you.
You live it, Sharon, and
thanks.
You are one of the most genuinely, both of you guys, caring, loving, and inherently happy people I know. And not everyone has gotten there. I think, you know, some of us are lucky to maybe be born with a hint more of that, you know, demeanor. But the beauty is we can all get there. But I think it's interesting because life is going to throw some stuff at us.
Absolutely. And that's usually when you learn this stuff.
Yeah, right. See, again, but that is an experienced mind talking because oftentimes, you know, there's this a chant we do in yoga that we offer up gratitude to all of our teachers. And the teachers are the teachers from the past, the present, and the future, and also the teachers that are the hardship and the calamity in life. Because even in the hardest experiences in life, there will be a lesson. And so to approach it from that attitude rather than, woe is me, why is this happening to me, how could have this happened?
Well, and that's like the emotion, that feeling of depression or anxiety. That's your body, your signal, your feeling telling you that something needs to change. You know, and what is it that, you know, and it could be right in front of you, you don't see it, you know, and opening to that and using the tools to help get back in to your flow so that you can start to see what it is and get out of that feeling.
Well, and what's interesting is that, you know, like the analogy of the back of the parking lot, right? One of the keys, I think, is that you have to let it go. You know,
get out of the way.
You know, I've had a couple different things that have just drove me right up, like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And
we all do.
I swear to God, the second I let it go, I mean, I'm talking within 30 seconds sometimes or a minute, it's like everything changes. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Is it this easy? Now, some of those times, folks, it would take me 6 months or a year to let it go. Sometimes it was 10 minutes. But the bottom line, if I truly let it go, everything changes. Like, wow, how does this, I mean, that's intense because that's powerful.
It is.
When that hits you, that is powerful. Then you realize that, okay, you know, whatever this is, and if it's an energy flow, which, you know, we think it is, that's what's happening. You're opening up, and if you're opened up, you're all set.
So Monday, I knew I was getting this new dog, and so that morning I'm writing out my notes and trying to, like, who do I know that has a Yorkie that can help me out with some questions I have? And there's one particular guy, I didn't even know his name, had no idea how to get hold of him, but I'd always run into him at a certain restaurant near where we live, and haven't seen him for a really long time. Well, I was out running my errands, and I'm like, I need to go to Publix. I really didn't want to go to Publix, but I'm like, something's pulling me there, so I'll just go now and get my errands run. Well, who do I run into?
I love it.
Was him. And if I hadn't in the grocery store gone back to get something that I was going to put off to go because I was just going in and out really quick, I would not have even seen him.
Right.
So just kind of being open to what it is that just intuition.
Yes.
Is
Right.
your intuition's telling you, so that you act on those, and then what you want and what you've asked for comes about.
Right.
You get out of the way and you just let it come to you.
You know what's so cool? I can't wait to go outside now and do it.
You do. You already do.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so funny, folks. When
It's
you talk
fun. It's
about
when you
this,
talk
you get
about
even
it.
more jazzed.
Oh, yeah.
You
Totally.
absolutely get jazzed
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you
You do.
realize how powerful it is.
It's so
and
powerful.
so it's keeping it in the front of your head too. You know, which
Yeah.
which is hard to do. You
Yeah.
know, it's not it's
Yeah.
not hard to do, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we're going to talk about how to do it. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how to even figure out what your goals are, what it is that you truly want, and then, of course, we'll follow on with how to manifest those goals and dreams. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with Sharon Denton.
Thank you.
In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV. If you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not here. What are you doing right now? Mindful Living with Allie Ford and Tom O'Brien.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's Allie and Tom here with Sharon Denton, and today we're talking about how to manifest your goals. So we were just talking about the importance of understanding that we are all energetically connected, that there is energy behind every thought and every word that we have. I want to get a little bit into, or a lot into, how do we know what we want? I think a lot of people have those questions. How do you figure that out?
Well, the way I think I've figured it out for myself.
That's
anyway.
a good attitude
for
too.
myself,
Always
anyway.
open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that when you're actually searching, and you're paying attention to yourself, right? Then you say, okay, what do I want to do? Okay, so if I want to do X, the key is, and we talked about this in the break, is that if you're doing X and you fail, it's like, oh no, this is terrible. So picture this. I'll tell you, this is a good story. So I grew up in the city, grew up with a lot of friends, and I'm really going to go for it. So as I'm going for it, I'm saying, oh man, if I fail, I'm going to be down in the dumps because I'm from South Boston, so they're gonna Obi, yeah. What do you think? You're gonna get out of here? You're out of your freaking mind. Okay, you're done, right? So that thought process went through my head, and that was a thought process. So that gave me some incentive also. Okay, and so great. First couple of deals worked. Guess what? Next couple of deals didn't work. Right? Now you're down in the dumps. Now it's like, oh man, Wipeout City. Okay, oh man, what am I going to do now? So in that context, that's where it really comes down, and we were talking about it in the first segment, that keep the thoughts positive, and don't let someone else's thoughts really affect you. Okay?
Right, totally.
No, we only know ourselves. I can think that I know you're two beautiful women, but you don't know what's in someone's heart. I really believe that. Do you know what I mean? So what ends up happening, you can ask, and if you ask, that's great, because you'll get more information, but you certainly shouldn't let people that are acquaintances turn around and say, oh, you never should have done that, this and that, and that's society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that's where I think this whole self-empowerment comes in, that we are powerful, and you should pay attention to yourself, and everything's inside us, and that still goes right back to, we're all one, though.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have to know who you are, or trust that you can.
Trust is a big thing.
Yes.
Trust is absolutely a big thing.
So I think, too, when you're trying to figure out what it is you should do, right? What is your purpose in life? And Oprah, I love Oprah. I just have to say.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, right?
She talks so much about this. She had this, I think it was her master series, where she talked about how everybody's born for a purpose. And
Yes.
I was just going to say that.
All the inspiring books that I read, and what I try to live by is to trust that we are born for a reason. We're not a mistake, And so one way to know perhaps what your purpose is to tap into what your passion is. What do you love to do?
What makes happiness in your life?
Exactly.
Right.
What brings you happiness?
Right.
As Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. Now, it's important to note that may not turn into a profession. I think it's important to remember that if we're doing what we love, we're happy. And intrinsically, this is what every human being wants. So to get more of that into your life. But many experts also say, and I believe this, that doing more of your passion will lead you to your purpose.
Absolutely.
So I try and do that somehow, some way, every day. Yeah, it makes me feel good.
I think so too. And I think having appreciation for the things in your life, and not only in your life, but looking around you. And it can be as simple as driving down the street and seeing a beautiful tree, or standing at a park and watching the interaction of the children playing together, or watching you hold Murphy, or just meeting someone brand new at the grocery store who's checking you out. All these different acts of full appreciation and really focusing on that will help to bring that gratitude into your own life, that you start to bring more of that into your life. It just starts to grow bigger and bigger. And it really is an amazing tool for a manifestation, is just appreciation alone.
It's crazy. You just brought up a great point, because I remember being a kid walking down the street in the city, and you're walking by people, you walk by the same people every day and didn't say hi. I'm saying to myself, so, I'm 10 years old, and say, so what am I going to walk by this person every single day and never say hi? So I start saying hi. Some people look at this, don't.
Yeah.
So, okay, in our neighborhood, we all live in the same neighborhood, so I walk Holly out in the morning. So picture this. Right now, folks, now this is crazy. We're in 2014, okay? I walk down the street every day, and if you're listening, mister, you're going to know that I get the German Shepherd, and I say hi to you every day. You just keep going. 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like, and it's funny. And I'm not
funny.
It's like, it's like, oh, this is terrible. But every day, I keep saying hi to him. He's going to say hi someday.
And that's the thing that's beautiful, is that you're operating from source energy, and they are not. because they're not able to respond like that. And so you just have to like send them love.
Yeah.
That
right.
they're
No,
able
absolutely.
to connect with that at some point at their given opportunities in their life where they can start to see that, like listening to this radio show,
Right.
accessing meditation and yoga,
Sure.
and being out in nature that will help them to connect with this true nature so that they're able to operate from this
Right.
place, and that when you say hello to that person at 6 o'clock in the morning walking your dog, they're able to be like
Yeah.
in that same place to
Yeah.
Sure,
reciprocate.
because
never
evidently,
know.
you know, even Swan, I think I says, you know, whatever's going on, you know, he's thinking a lot, you know, which is
Sure.
too bad, which we've all
Thinking
been.
too much
You know, I've
is
been
not
there.
good.
You know, we've all been there.
We all
Like, you
do
know,
it.
I'm sure people say hi to me. I just keep walking right by them, like, and you're just so far into it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
but it's sad, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But you know, it's just.
You keep trying. You never know
Right.
when he's going to have
Oh, I'm gonna
maybe
get him to
that
crack.
moment.
I'm gonna get him to crack.
Where he will receive
I like
you.
challenges like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a good challenge.
Yeah.
It's a connection challenge.
Yeah.
That reminds me of my grandfather. I'm from a really small town, Texas. And it's funny, I don't really sound like it anymore. I wish I would have kept that. Would have been an awesome combination with your Boston accent and my Texas
We got our
accent.
2 horses outside. We're all set.
It's so perfect. No one could understand what I was saying, but
No, we'd have the whole country.
exactly, that's true.
We'd be all set.
But we called him Papa. My grandfather would wave to every single car
yeah.
that passed.
I love it.
I
oh
love
my God,
that.
that's
It
so
made a
cool.
mark in my mind. And
Right.
sometimes I'll think of that in my neighborhood, and I'll just make a day. I'll choose a day. This is the day I'm going to wave
Isn't
to
that
everyone
cool?
who passes.
That's
you know,
awesome.
because we're all connected. And sometimes people wave back. Sometimes we're just, you know, in the zone.
Well, you
and
know what?
everything's
We were
blocked
kids.
out.
We always drove bikes, you know, driving Harleys. Everyone always waved. Now
Yeah.
they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So they lost that, which is too bad. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's,
You know, you
it's all
really
those Japanese bikes that come out.
too fast. You made a really good point that we do try some things, and I have to say, you know, when you're trying to figure it out what it is you want to do or should be doing, do things that you love in your spare time, and this will get you tapped in. You know, we'll talk about tools like yoga and meditation, but even a daily practice of bliss can help you just get some clarity, and then maybe those ideas will start to come to you. But I'm also a big fan of momentum, movement, and choosing something. And sometimes you do something and you go, oh, I'm not cut out for this at all, you know. And I mean, sometimes it can be the process of elimination, but it's important to note that you still shouldn't let failures or even successes necessarily define who you are.
Absolutely
you know,
not.
Try not to get lost with
It's
those ups
those
and downs.
experiences that will help you to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it helps you to know what you want and what you don't want,
Right.
which is the
Right.
key.
Right.
Makes you stronger.
And like a daily tool for manifestation is make a list. What do you want to get done today? And
It
make
is.
it be reasonable, not like so much like you're going to be exhausted just looking at the list.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
list that's doable, that you can accomplish,
Yes.
that is mark it off,
Right.
you know, and at the end of the day, you built that momentum. And then on the other side, write down those things that you're just going to like put out there for universe to take care of for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can manifest that and get out of the way and let that stuff come back. So
Right.
that's like a daily tool that you can do. Another wonderful tool is writing out in a journal. Write about, and this is something if you're really intent on manifesting for 1 month, once a week, write out your goals for your body, for your relationships, for your family, your home, and your work. And write what you would like to see. And don't use the word but.
Yeah.
In 1 month, okay, let's walk through this
Yeah.
then. Okay, so you do this every
So
day?
you do it once a week, once a week
Okay.
for an entire month.
Okay.
And then you can manipulate and change it
Okay.
from week to week. For after that 1 month, go down to just doing it once a month.
Okay.
I like to do it on the new moon. That's
cool.
a time of
Right.
spiritual connection.
Right.
It's when we're more creative, our minds are quieter.
Right.
So do it
That's
again
cool.
and do
Okay.
it once a month for the rest of the year. And you will be amazed at how much you'll bring into your life.
Cool. Now, you know what's interesting about that? So, and folks, you can do it this way. Well, this is how I'm going to do it. First I got to get myself psyched up that's what I'm going to do. You see what I'm saying?
You know what? Get a nice book, a journal that
Yeah.
speaks to you, that you
Right.
can you feel energy with.
Right. No.
That's key.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
you want
No.
you don't want to just write on some just plain old journal.
No.
You know, you want
it's
something
a great
nice.
idea. It's a great
Yeah.
idea because when you absolutely do talk, even whether it's talking out loud and you write it,
It
then,
makes a
then
huge
you start to
difference.
understand. Okay, That's what you want. Well, how are you going to get it?
Absolutely.
How are you going to get it?
Right.
That's
I'll
a
tell
different
you,
deal.
Some of the biggest changes in my life have occurred because I wrote them down.
Sweet.
And it wasn't even in a journal. It was like in the car, like
Yeah.
at a stoplight. I'm like writing because it's on my head, on my heart.
Nice.
Write it, let it go.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, these pieces start to fall into place.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
it's important to always remember that first concept that we set, that everything's energy, and always go back to positive. So when you are journaling or writing what it is that you want,
Absolutely.
write it in a positive way. I, wish
Yes.
to manifest X. And I would avoid writing what you don't want in your life.
Yeah.
Because
That-
anytime you think about what you don't
You're
want,
giving
you're
it more
thinking about
energy.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
And I love what you say. What you think about.
You bring about whatever focus on grows. And Sharon brought a great point. Pay attention more to the heart than the head.
Yes.
You pay attention to your heart's never going to do you wrong.
Yes.
Your head can do you in
Yes.
sometimes.
It sure can. Come back, folks. We're going to give you a real good plan to invite into your life today. So stay with us. We'll be back.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Life is a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved. Mindful Living with Allie Ford and Tom O'Brien.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah.
Welcome back, folks, to Mindful Living. Allie and Tom here with our distinguished guest, life coach and yoga mentor, Sharon Denton.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I have to say, sweet little Murphy, your new baby has been sleeping sweetly this whole show. He's our spirit angel of peace and calm, grounding. So Sharon is just sharing with us her tips and plan for how to manifest your goals.
All right, so the first thing you want to do is on a daily basis, write out the things you're going to get done that day, and don't make an overwhelming long list. Keep it short, keep it simple, and that when you get them done, check them off, because that's going to give you satisfaction, and you're going to accomplish more, and that's going to build energy and manifestation. On the other side of the sheet of paper, write the things that you can give off to the universe, and let it go. Get out of the way, step out of the way, go with the flow, and see what shows up, and act on those as they come into your life. So it could be that, you want to write a book, and just put it out there in the universe so that everything starts to come back towards you and the pieces start to come together so that actually happens. So that's just an example.
Very helpful.
Right?
That's cool.
It is very helpful.
The other thing you can do is go to Barnes & Noble or shop on Amazon, whatever you want to do, and find a journal that you feel some kind of connection with. You know, like if you were to choose from some books to read, which one you would have a drawing to. Same with the journal. Find one that speaks to you.
And there's nice journals.
Yeah, there's some beautiful journals out there. And so open it up, and you can do this if you're really wanting to go at this with 2014 just starting here. Once a week for one entire month, write out what manifestations and things you'd like to see in your life. So start with my family, my relationships, and then you can do your home, your body, and your, what was the last one? Body, work, relationships, family, and home. So you got those 4 topics that you can write about, and talk about the things you'd like to see, and stay as positive as you can, and write from your heart.
Yeah, for example, I mean, even if it is more peace and quiet, or understanding or forgiveness,
or better communication, or
more success,
yes,
more wealth,
absolutely,
as you say,
more opportunities for creating wealth, whatever it may be,
more abundance into your life.
Absolutely.
It can certainly be about the dreams and aspirations that you have in your work in a very positive way.
Yes, absolutely. So you can do that for once a week, for every month, and or for once a month. I'm so sorry. Once a week for 1 month, do this. And then after that month, start doing it once a month for the rest of the year. And you will start to see a lot of manifestation occurring in your life. The other wonderful thing that you can do, which this is great for kids, I like to do this with my daughter and do it with a younger group of kids, but it's really powerful for adults too, is create a poster. And whenever you see stuff as you're flipping through magazines or you're out and about and you see something, you can take a picture of it, print it, whatever, add that to your poster. And so for kids, it's great because they can make this poster
It's a really great
of
idea.
the things that they want in their lives. And they put that energy out there, and then they have it, and they just get out of the way, and it starts, it's a manifestation process. For adults, most times they're not into doing the cut and paste. So you find a box that you love. Something beautiful, maybe it's simple, maybe it's more elaborate. And same thing, whenever you come across things that you like, things that you would like to have in your life, put them in that box, and then when you put it in there, let the universe, like whatever goes in there this is what I want in my life. This will be, and put it out there, and then just get out of the way and let things come into your life and go with the flow. Don't fight, just go with the flow. So that's another wonderful technique for manifestation in your life.
Definitely.
They're going to start teaching this stuff in grammar school.
Absolutely.
It's
for all of us folks, okay? Because the bottom line is it's totally where it's at.
Yeah, well,
and
I do a test with my daughter all the time when she talks negative. I'm like, put your arm out, and I kinesthetically test her, because when she speaks negatively about herself, she's weak.
Oh, wow.
I can push her arm down, but when she talks positively about herself, she's strong.
Isn't that
and
cool?
you can do that with anybody.
Yeah.
So it's a real, true test of how energetically we are connected to the words that we say and the energy that's part of that.
Yeah, it manifests physically.
Yes.
That's a really important concept we talked about with meditation, how your thoughts can manifest as physical health or disease in the body.
Absolutely.
Really brilliant. I'd like to say with the journaling, I know I've talked to a lot of people who say, oh, I'm not a writer, that's not for me. And journaling for me, I can attest to that, has been such a powerful tool. I do it every new moon. I haven't tried the once a week for every month, for 1 month, and then once a month for the rest of the year. But, it goes back to the concept that if you just keep thinking about it, it's going to grow. So if you really, are feeling something powerfully, why not give it a try?
Yeah, or if you've got something coming up in your life and you feel like you're on the brim of something, go to your journal.
Yeah,
right.
And it's not something anyone else has to see, and it's just free-form thoughts. It doesn't have to make, complete sentences or be written perfectly. It's just you and your journal.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So, of course, we're talking about time, folks, right? This takes time. Well, I'll tell you a story. All week, I don't go to yoga, right? I'm busy.
Right.
Oh, guess what? You're not busy enough not to go to yoga. So I went today, and both of these women teach me, okay? So I'm in Sharon's class today, and I'm saying, how did I not go to yoga in like 5 days? What's wrong with me? No, I'm not kidding. Because what happens, folks, okay, is that I get much more focused, I feel 10 times better.
Yeah.
I'm happier. I know I'm gonna make more money.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that in the context, but I like action, folks. That's all I'm talking about here. But
No, but you're manifesting that. That's
what
great.
what happens is
Yeah.
that they're just fun for me. Do you know what I mean? So it's not in that context. That was probably said. But that just happens. Do you know what I mean? And I'm absolutely much more grounded. I mean,
Yeah.
You'll be way more productive because of that 1 hour you spent.
I know.
in
Look,
class.
you're so calm because you went to yoga today. Murphy is crashed in your arms, even with all the excitement in your voice.
And you know, it's so funny, folks. We were talking about this in the beginning. When we were starting, now this beautiful little dog is only 8 weeks old, but when we were starting, he felt the energy because he changed, which is pretty cool. Right? No, it really is.
Yeah.
I can feel energy.
And now he's all set. He's going to be sleeping for the next couple hours.
Yes.
Until I start the financial show. He's going to
Wake up. You know, you mentioned gratitude also, Sharon, at the beginning of the show, and it is so important because I truly believe that
Count your blessings.
a life worth living is really not one of longing, and I think that's different of writing what your goals and dreams are. I mean, you know, it does make the world go round, and I think that's just living your bliss, finding your calling, and as we said, we're here for a purpose. But it's a life of gratitude.
Yeah, well, and one of the first things you can do if you're headed to work one morning and you're just kind of feeling down and out, and you wish things were different. First thing you can do is think of appreciation and look at the things around you and appreciate them, whether you've always overlooked it and really never appreciated it. Appreciate things around you, and everything you look at, appreciate. Appreciate the traffic lights. Appreciate there's order in the street. Appreciate the person standing on the road helping the kids get across the street. Appreciate the energy, the young, vibrant energy of the kids crossing the street, the ones on the bikes, the ones running. You know, all those little details that we always, drive in.
Overlook. Yeah.
In the brain, in the mind, just thinking about your day, what you got going on, all the troubles, all the problems, and that's what you're inviting more of as you do that. So it's so important to get out of that mind frame and start to look at all the beauty around us. Yeah. And immediately you will start to feel better. I promise you, it works.
We have it made.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't born in the third world.
No.
Sometimes I think about how these poor people that get born. I mean, think about it. We got made.
But it's interesting you go there, and I think it's all a matter of perspective.
And they're happy.
They're happy.
Yeah.
But I have to share this. My husband had this idea. This last year, we started a tradition with our children. It's a happy jar.
Right,
and
that's
it's
great.
Interestingly, I've had this red vase forever in my house with a Chinese symbol for happiness on it, just sitting as a piece of art on the shelf, not being used. And when he said, "Oh, let's start this tradition," I said, "This is perfect."
Yeah.
So whenever the children are grateful for something, we write it on a note with the date, and we put it in the jar. And then we read all of those notes on New Year's Day this year.
Cool.
That's
so
awesome.
that's a really great, been a great tradition for our house.
Oh yeah, and what a great thing for your family.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do the poster for sure with my kids.
it's fun.
Yeah. I have my 3 favorite tips. I'd
Please share.
add because
Please share.
the journaling. You know, I would say my first one is it's kind of twofold, and that is read books and surround yourself with people you want to emulate.
Absolutely.
People who are positive influences in your life or who inspire you. And I love the analogy that David Life and Sharon Gannon give in their yoga book called Jiva Mukti. They say when we're starting any practice to try to bring more health into our life, we're kind of like tree saplings. You know how when you're planting a new tree, you have to put it in the ground and stake it and tie it to the stakes.
Yes.
So we call that satsang in yoga, but surround yourself with like-minded people.
Community.
Yeah, a community who can help you and keep you on your path and your goals, and who inspire you and lift you up.
Right.
And then the second one is it's again twofold, but it's basically exercise, physical and mental. So because when we feel healthy in our physical body, we feel well in our mind. We've talked about how it's connected.
Absolutely.
So I say do some physical exercise every day, whether it's 10 minutes of jumping jacks in your office or a brisk walk around the block. Minimum 10 minutes, ideally 30 physical minutes a day, but then the mental practice. And whether you have a practice of meditation or yoga, go to a yoga class, do a 10-minute meditation, all kinds of tools online. I have a free guided 10-minute meditation on my website. But breathing, following your bliss, playing your music, listening to your music. That can all be mental grounding.
Well, and the emotions are directly tied in with our breath. So when we are able to slow down the breath, then our emotions start to come into balance.
Yes.
So that's the beautiful thing too. So if you are feeling ragged and stressed, come to your breath.
Yeah. And then my third favorite, as you said, Sharon, is to journal. I cannot believe.
I look back at some of my journals, and just this past December, we were going through some old boxes, and I came across some old journals and read them, and it's like, wow, what life has changed since then.
How long have you journaled?
Forever, since I was a kid.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah,
okay, that's cool.
I've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's important too, Tom. You know, everybody's busy. I think we all fall into the category of too much to do and not enough time. But again, if you're looking at ways to improve your life,
if you want to make your life better, make the time, because it will help.
And it could be 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes and write, a novel.
Yeah. If you have time to get onto Facebook, you have time to journal.
Exactly. I'm myself cutting out one more reality show this year, 2014. Stuff could make me really angry,
That's funny. Oh my God. It's true though. The time deal is that you have to take time for yourself, and if you do, everyone's going to be happy. That whole deal, and that goes back centuries, and it's real. It's real. And the whole thing about, I mean, even maybe before you breathe, what they tell you, even people I need to breathe.
Yeah. Do your deep
think
breathing,
about it.
calm and grounding.
Right.
When you look at inspirational texts and books, that's been also a practice forever, whether it's the Torah or the Bible or a yoga book or any of your favorite inspirational books. These are times to just be reminded of those deep life lessons.
Absolutely.
That maybe we know, but sometimes need to be reminded of. And encourage us to be more self-reflective, What
affirmations.
Right.
Exactly.
Another great thing, have a storage house of it, so when you're not feeling good, go to those affirmations. And pick one and repeat it over and over again.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's one thing I did as a kid growing up, were affirmations, and I look back and I'm like, Louise Hay's was my very first affirmation book I read, and it was given to me because someone knew I was going through a hard time, and I've always applied that to my life. And I remember my first business as a personal trainer back in 1989. I would make these little cards with the little affirmations on and hand them out to people.
Yeah.
Because I believed in it so much. It made such a difference to me.
Now, where'd you grow up?
In Colorado.
In Colorado?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
That's a beautiful place to grow up.
It was a great place to grow up.
Yeah. All those mountains.
Yeah,
totally.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the affirmations are important. I have to say, I love just getting them in email, or on Twitter or Facebook. They really kind of, if you're in one of those moments of self-doubt or fear or hesitation or confusion, which, can come up, it can snap you right out of it.
And okay, so we definitely want to talk about that.
Obstacles.
How do you live? Do you live in love or do you live in fear? And that in itself, and that gets, when you're scared, folks, and we can be scared about a million things, okay? What ends up happening is that then your system, you're coming at versus coming back. And that, I think that takes a while to get rid of, okay? But if you can work on that, that is a whole different being.
Right.
Because there's nothing to be scared about. Guess what? We're all going to die. Okay? So, no, I'm not kidding. No, because you know what happens with me? This is what happens with me. Sometimes I'm doing something, and if you get upset, it's like, hold it, man. You better just have a good time, because guess what? We're not going to be around a little while. It's like, really, do you want to sit there and argue about something that means nothing?
Right.
Or whatever that is. And when you're cognizant of, when that's in the top of your head, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You're not going to live in fear.
Yeah.
Because, why?
That is a deep realization, right? The nature of reality.
And it's a tough one. I've lived in both.
Yes.
I mean, I know what the difference is.
Yeah, I think that's what Nike meant when they said, just do it.
Yes.
Just do it. Because it's by doing it, you're going to get out of that fear.
Yes. Yes. And it's always, no matter what we fear, it seems to me, when you look it right in the face, guess what? It's nothing.
Yeah.
It really is. Most of the time, it's nothing.
It's making a bigger deal out of it.
You've flipped it out in your own head so dramatically, like, oh my God, it's going to be the end of the world. Well, guess what? The end of the world is not here.
Right.
It's not happening.
It's so. The reason I laughed when you said that is because one of my favorite yoga teachers once said, he sees everybody come into the room, and everybody's just moving so fast, just rushing to get from one point to the other through their yoga practice or through their work day or to get their kids off to school or, from point A to point B. And he says, I just want to say to them, why in such a hurry? We're all headed to the same end.
Exactly. Exactly.
Enjoy the journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop and smell the roses.
Right.
And I think it just informs. I try to think of that on a daily basis when I get into that rush. It's it
Yes.
can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, and it does.
Definitely.
It does.
But to take your time and just for a moment, as you said, maybe step out into nature, feel the breeze on your skin. Hear the sounds of the environment. Notice the trees that
Look at
your
the
neighbor
stars.
is so busy walking by every
Right.
day. They're
Right.
changing every day. Nothing's staying the same. And when you just take those few moments out of a day, you become really mindful and present, calm and clear. Some of that stress, and confusion, fear drops away.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So,
And I think a big thing that we should all be aware of is our emotions are not obstacles. Our emotions are a guidance system. And so when we listen and really hear and feel what's going on here, we know where we need to go next.
That's cool.
It's when we
Yeah.
ignore it, then that's when you get washed away and you don't know what to do, and you do wallow
Right.
in that fear or that sadness or that depression.
Right. And that's putting something off. Well, that's interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's a fact.
or stuffing
Right.
it down.
Yeah,
Emotions.
right.
Yeah.
It's really important too that just because we all are seeking for more peace or balance or what have you in our life doesn't mean that you stuff down or ignore emotions. There are healthy ways
Absolutely.
to process emotions. So I love that.
And I think the biggest obstacle that I see around is people speaking a positive something, and then they'll follow it up with but.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they follow, well, why did you just say that?
Right.
I totally just like, you've got this something beautiful here, and then but this. And so speak the first part and end it there. Or, and da la la la. And I am surrounded by all these people in my life that are going to help me to accomplish this.
Yes.
And, and speak in that way so that you are putting that energy out there.
Right.
But's a beautiful word. We're going to get rid of that word.
Get rid of but.
Because think about it for a second.
Yeah.
No matter what
There's
you say.
no use for that word.
There is no
Yeah.
use for that word.
No, it's true.
But. No.
Right. It's kind of
No,
shocking or
th- th-
jarring
no,
to the look, even
Sorry,
Murphy
pal.
look up.
No, there really is,
Sloppy.
which is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I think that to drive that point home, when you're talking about even journaling or your thoughts, right, where we started this conversation, instead of saying, I don't want this anymore in my life, or I want to change this, put it in a positive perspective. State it in a way of how you're going to or what you want to manifest, what you wish to intend
Yes.
into your life.
And speak of the positive things going on in your life now so you can bring more of that into your life.
Yes.
Right.
So
And
focus on
surround
those good
yourself by people like this.
things. And you.
Yeah, and folks, Allie's
should
one of
be
the most
like,
positive
I know.
people in the world. Okay.
Totally.
You know, yeah. So
We're in good company.
there's no doubt.
Well,
She lights up a room.
it's nice
there's no
to
doubt
have.
about
It
that.
is nice to have that community,
Yes.
where you can have the support. And that's another thing I encourage. If you're feeling alone, or if you've moved to a new city, join a group that who's doing something you love: painting, singing, dancing,
Yeah.
theater,
Find a yoga studio, folks.
rollerblading at midnight.
No, seriously.
In
'cause
disco shorts.
Yeah, this little dog got dropped into a yoga studio, and when I say, what a great place to get dropped into. Think about it, right? How good is that, right?
Yeah, he's going to be the new mascot, I think.
Totally.
Sharon, thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
here, and Tom,
Thank you, Sharon. It's awesome.
Thank
sharing
you,
your
Tom.
insights.
Thanks for having me.
We hope that these tips help you guys. We're going to post them on our website at TFNN and at Sharon's website, SharonDenton.com. We're wishing you the most prosperous year and manifesting your goals and dreams in 2014. Join us again next week on Mindful Living. Peace.
a great one. Peace.
Namaste.
Good night.
'Cause I get a good feeling.